make a special appeal to social media companies and media outlets. Please deal with the misinformation and disinformation that's on your shows. It has to stop.
Sense of me, you will never stop the free. Thinking that's gonna shut you down. Post the truth, then go to town. Sense of me, kick me off of every platform. I'll just go to get a gab and rumble. Now you can't stop me. I think we all see it, but cannot believe it. The glint in our eyes as we look at the sky to see that it's falling and people are calling. I think we all know that the end is nigh. But how can it be? The people is me. I posted a tweet and it got deleted. Don't look at me like I'm conceited. If you conceded, then tell me why you stuck on the YouTube, then on the Facebook, calling it meta. We fed it the cheese, I mean fed it with cheese. They wanna release all of your data to screw up your piece. They censor me, then take liberty. Don't even let me post up with the need. Album to blast, they gonna ban that. Take it off, genius, you can't even read the lyrics of Brandon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. You are now tuned into the Chandler Brief, your favorite daily source for news, entertainment, and all around a great time, where the dress code is, of course, business casual, as evidenced by our tie and our pretty sweet-looking white shirt. How is everybody doing today? It is March 21st, 2022, and it is a bright, warm, sunny Monday. In Georgia, at least. I don't know where you're watching this from. You could be anywhere in the world, as the intro ascribes to the fact of that being true, or at least potentially possible. But we're here live to greet you guys and give you guys all the news. We've got some good people showing up in the chat today. Hold on, let me pull it up so I can read it a little bit better. Shout out to Aaron Behringer, Salty Distraction, Rebecca, and Jason in the chat. We've got a great showing here today. We're going to be bringing you guys all the news. But first things first, I want to remind you that the Hall of Heroes has reset for the week, and we have had once again, yet another insurrection in the Hall of Heroes. So Miss P. Diaz has absolutely taken over the Hall of Heroes by trouncing Mark Cook with 15 cents over the $100 donation that he gave. So I want to give a big thank you to Miss P. Diaz, who donated $104.15. So big thank you to her. Shout out to everybody who has supported me in the past or is intending to in the future at some point, even if you can't right now. It is all appreciated. Once you guys are in here, make sure you smash that like button. We're going to jump right into the news. As you guys know, we try to keep this show less than 30 minutes of at least news, about 3 minutes of intro, and we're going to jump right into the news right when it hits the 50 mark. We've got a few stories to jump into, so let's just get into it now. The first story I'm going to read, you're going to be scratching your head, going to be like, okay, Chandler, why are you reading this story? But I want to put something into perspective for you. This is coming from the Daily Beast, notorious opinion editor Zachary Patrizio, or as I like to call him, Putz Rizzo, as in like a putz, because this guy is just, man, he is something. I've ran into him a few times. I've never recognized him up close, because who wants to look at his face? But we've crossed paths quite a few times at various conservative events and things of that nature, and he always has something to write up about it. And this is, once again, no difference. Now, I don't believe I ran into him at the actual convoy place itself. We'll jump into that in a minute. But his story reads, People's Convoy reveals ridiculous new goal, take back Black Lives Matter Plaza. Now, this story is, of course, a couple of days old. Now, since then, they have actually achieved every single goal that they outlined to do. We'll jump into that in a minute, but let's jump right into this story. On Friday morning, the so-called People's Convoy seemed to reveal a new goal for the right-wing trucker movement, which is just an interesting way to say it. Reclaim the 2-block-long Black Lives Matter Plaza in downtown D.C. What's going to happen up here in D.C.? Black Lives Matter Street. We're going to take it back, a speaker declared during the group's daily morning meeting after being tossed the microphone by organizer Mike Landis. All that paint's coming off the street, he continued. The group further alleged to enlist the help of motorcycle riders in storming of the city. Interesting way to say that. With a goal to tar and feather the pedestrian-only section of the 16th Street Northwest, painted in honor of the protest following the police killing of George Floyd. And then we're going to tar and feather all our delegates. I love this. I truly do. As part of our layered mitigation strategy and enhanced preparedness posture, MPD has all the resources and necessary support they need to monitor and respond to any instances of illegal activity or harmful disruption, is what the Metropolitan Police and groups of that nature replied to the folks saying we're going to take our country back. The problem is, they are not breaking any laws. The people that are driving through DC, specifically on Black Lives Matter Plaza, are not breaking any rules. Now, what I want to show you next is somebody that is indeed breaking a rule and is trying to get people hurt, including themselves. This right here is a motorcyclist that decided to bike in front of the truckers and brake check the truckers. Now, let me tell you guys something. If you pull up in a smart car and try to brake check a truck, you're going to get obliterated. You're on a two wheels, no frame, you're just on a bike with a little basket, and you expect to survive? What are you doing? Here's another article. Lone cyclist deliberately holds up People's Convoy as it continues to disrupt traffic in DC, demanding an end to all COVID rules and a removal of BLM mural on road leading to White House. The People's Convoy, a roving protest against vaccine mandates modeled after the Freedom Convoy, continues to make loops around the DC Beltway as their demands grow beyond ending COVID rules. Their demonstration, which now consists of about 100 semi-trucks and a smattering of vans and pickups, interesting way to say it, are updating their list of grievances as COVID restrictions disappear nationwide and continue to take aim at the Biden administration. Protesters have also made incursions through downtown DC, including a recent trip very close to the White House, which saw them being deliberately held up by I guess they mean to say cyclist, but it's not there. They're calling for an end to the few that remain, a national emergency order that was extended in February, the ongoing mask mandate on airplanes and trains, and the vaccine requirements for members of the military. All very valid things to be protesting against. Very close to the White House they got. It was beautiful. But on Friday, organizers called on the mostly white crowd, interesting way to say it, to remove the giant Black Lives Matter sign painted on the 16th Street Northwest in front of the White House. We're going to take it back, one organizer said. Some were also calling for an end to the Biden administration altogether, although they faced embarrassment over the weekend thanks to one single cyclist. On Saturday, video from DC showed a lone man in a bicycle pedaling slowly in front of a row of trucks, honking their horns in frustration. "What are you doing? You've got a bunch of trucks behind you," one man asked in the video pasted on Twitter. "I can't hear you, I'm sorry, it's too loud," the man replied as he rode down the street. Let's actually check this video. I don't think I've seen the video directly, just pictures. Let's see. Oh, so it's from WYSIWYG. Now, this is actually one of the people directly, and they're actually on the streets of DC right now streaming, but, so let's see if I can find the video here, or if this is just going to link to the Twitter page itself. I think it is, so I'll have to scroll for a little bit, but as you can see, beautiful times in Maryland. The sun was out just days ago, and actually touching a little bit on that, we have another story that you guys are going to find absolutely beautiful, but I want to show you guys some of these pictures as well of the cyclist that is, he really thinks he's cool. He really thinks he's doing something. In the end, the police more than likely would have had to get in there and intervene if he was going to hurt himself. The truckers are going to get through the city and make their message clear, as they did, driving just like less than half a mile away from the White House, just one street that is closed off, which is Pennsylvania Avenue, then Lafayette Park, and then the street where it's painted Black Lives Matter. That's where they were at. In fact, I'll pull up the street for you guys, because I posted on Instagram about the fact that they were doing this, and somebody was like, "Chandler, that's fake news," when it is not fake news. Let's just go to Google Maps, Black Lives Matter Plaza. I have it hidden right now, but I'm going to pull it up for you guys in a second so you guys can see how close this is. And we'll put it on satellite mode as well, so you guys can see. Hold on. Google Maps is so frustrating to use. Okay. And you would think I'd be good at this too. There you go. Satellite. Okay. So you guys can see, this is Black Lives Matter Plaza. We're gonna, hold on. I don't like how it does this. There you go. Okay, great. And then I'm gonna get rid of the things so that you guys can see that just the satellite. Labels. Okay, there you go. Finally. Alright. As you guys can see, right here, Black Lives Matter Plaza. So there's the big Black Lives Matter text. There's Lafayette Park, and then there's the White House. So they were very close, very, very close to the White House. Almost just pulled up right on it, but they drove on this road right here. We could go back to the article and see if we can actually see the direct pictures of it. There's video of them driving, and I've walked on these streets, and wow, there's the Washington Monument, so close to the White House. This is about as close as you can get on a road. Big, powerful convoy. So here's video, yeah. This is like an Antifa chapter in DC that is showing up for this. Let's check this out. He thinks he's so cool. So, honestly, they're doing their thing. I can't even fault them for it. Shout out to all the activists who have been tracking and messing with this silly convoy since they got to the area. Another truck pulled up next to him and said there were trucks behind him. He said, "I can't hear you, there's too much noise." Oh, and here's video of it too. Hold on, let's see this. And it's from WYSIWYG, yeah. It's one of the guys on the street.
Hey, what are you doing? You got a bunch of trucks behind you. You got a bunch of trucks behind you. What? You got a bunch of trucks behind you. Oh, it's too loud, huh? Okay.
It's too loud, huh? Okay, we know what we're up against. These are the guys. This is the opposition right here. The guys that are riding around on their bike. Honestly, it looks like he's probably like one of those Instacart delivery guys who like brings you your groceries or brings you like McDonald's or something. He's got the basket on the front of his bike. I don't know, folks, but that just goes to show you who's against us. But we know who's on our side. Look at this amazing picture that I snapped in what's the name of the place? I'm forgetting the name of it. But Maryland. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But they're staged in a city that's about 70 miles away from Maryland, 70 miles away from Washington D.C. Somebody in the chat's gonna remind me what it is. It starts with an H. I think it has Berg in it. I don't know why it's suddenly like blanking my mind here. But the beautiful thing happened. So here in the South we call it the devil beating his wife. But what really happened is that it rained at the same time that the sun was out. So it was a beautiful sight. And then once it stopped raining, this amazing double rainbow came out. Okay, Hagerstown. Thank you, Roxanne. Hagerstown, yes. Not Berg, but town. All right, thank you. Beautiful double rainbow flew above this area. And I think it's like just in this area too. Yeah, thank you, Jason. It started like right around where the racetrack is and goes until this hill over here. You guys had to see it in person. You guys truly had to see it. It was beautiful. Another one here. And then I think the funny thing with double rainbows is that most of them are actually triple rainbows because there's like a very, very, very faint third one above it that is really hard to see. But I think I can like slightly make it out. I might just be psyoping myself. But either way, it was a beautiful sight. And then, as you guys can see on the ground, mere seconds after this sight, it started to hail. So we literally went from sun to like sunny rain to like heavy rain for a little bit. Then sunny rain again. And then rainbows. And then hail. It was definitely a thing, to say the least. Y'all people that live up in the Northeast, I could not do it. But that just goes to show you that the truckers, they've got the support of someone very important. Aaron says, Northerners don't understand the sunny raining. Yeah, see, people were asking, what's the phrase you use for that? And I was down there like, the devil's beating his wife, and they were all looking at me all weird. I was like, it's real. It's real. If we have time a little bit later on at the end of the show, I'll go back, I'll confirm it for you guys. I will fact check myself on the fact that that is a real term that people use. Somebody said they're from Louisiana. You probably know that term as well. Moving on to another piece of the puzzle of what is happening today, we have the confirmation hearing, I should say, of brand new Supreme Court nominee Katanji Brown Jackson. And that's how it is pronounced. So I've heard Katanji. I haven't heard it many other ways, but Katanji Brown Jackson. If anybody's got any disagreements, let me know in the comments below. But apparently, there's been some interesting stuff happening. Now, we're not going to touch on the exact thing directly. We're going to read this story. Because as we like to do on this show, we like to read opposition articles and really tear them apart like that. So this is MSNBC saying, Josh Hawley's attempt to smear Katanji Brown backfires. The Missouri Republican meant to make Judge Jackson look awful. He denigrated himself in the process. Interesting. What could he be trying to expose about her? Let's check in. Zoom in a little bit. As Judge Katanji Brown Jackson's confirmation hearings approached, Senate Republicans boasted about how responsible they'd be. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said, for example, the process will be thoroughly respectable, quite different from the way the Democrats treated Clarence Thomas, quite different from the way the Democrats treated Brett Kavanaugh. It came on the heels of related rhetoric from Senator Chuck Grassley, the top Republican on the Senate Judiciary. I think you're not going to find Republicans getting in the gutter like the Democrats did with Kavanaugh, which says something, really does. As much as I'm pro taking the high road and things of that nature, we need to play dirty. We have to. And not even necessarily dirty, but effective. With Kavanaugh, they played dirty. They pulled up things that didn't happen, smeared that man so much so that they drove him to tears on the Senate floor. That's shameful. What we need to do is play effective, which is exactly what Josh Hawley did. Let's keep going. In reality, it's rather easy to defend the ways in which Democratic senators handled the credible allegations surrounding Thomas and Kavanaugh. Still? Y'all are still standing by that? Because we all know it was creepy, racist Uncle Joe.
And you ain't black.
Talking about it back in the day. Crazy. But putting that aside, the assurances about the GOP staying away from the gutter and approaching Jackson's nomination in a respectable way look ridiculous in the wake of Senator Josh Hawley's attempted smear. Let me tell you guys, opinion pieces, they are surely something. The Washington Post's Ruth Marcus highlighted the Missouri Republicans' attack in her latest column. Wow, it doesn't even directly state what he said. It's just some quote. The GOP senator's line of attack did not go unnoticed, but fact-checkers quickly dismantled Hawley's nonsense. The Associated Press said the senator's claims don't stand up to scrutiny. Fact-check reports from the Washington Post and CNN came to the same conclusion. Oh wow, 2 left-wing sources and whatever the Associated Press is came out and said, it doesn't stand up to facts. Is that supposed to mean something to me? Since this article doesn't appear it's going to be doing so, I'll have to manually go in and find this piece about Josh Hawley myself, because I thought that I found it in this article, but I'm going to have to go in and find it for you guys on here, because he put out an entire Twitter thread, and it was beautifully written. Here's the thread. I've been researching the record of Judge Katanji Brown Jackson, reading her opinions, articles, interviews, and speeches. I've noticed an alarming pattern when it comes to Judge Jackson's treatment of offenders, especially those on young children. Judge Jackson has a pattern of letting child content offenders off the hook for their appalling crimes, both as a judge and as a policymaker. She's been advocating for it since law school. This goes beyond soft on crime. I'm concerned that this is a record that endangers our children. As far back as her time in law school, Judge Jackson has questioned making convicts register as offenders, saying it leads to stigmatization and ostracism. She suggested public policy is driven by a climate of fear, hatred, and revenge against offenders. Judge Jackson has also questioned sending dangerous offenders to civil commitment. We have a civil commitment law in Missouri, and it protects children. And it gets worse. As a member of the U.S. Sentencing Commission, Judge Jackson advocated for a drastic change in how the law treats offenders by eliminating the existing mandatory minimum sentences for child content. Judge Jackson has said that some people who possess content are in this for either the collection or the people who are loners and find the status in their participation in the community. What community would that be? The community of exploiters? Ooh, okay. Wow. In order to not get a community guideline strike for whatever this is, I'm not digging any further. But it's clear to see that Josh Hawley has made some very strong remarks against this. And it's funny that these people are fact-checking it, despite the fact that the facts are exactly as they are set. Those are her words, those are her decisions, those are her speeches, and yet they are saying, it's all a lie. No, it's a fact-checked. Are you serious? A Wall Street Journal report added that the senator's tweets on the subject were criticized by people across the ideological spectrum, who said his commentary lacked context, misconstrued Jackson's conduct and writings, and created a false dichotomy between protecting children and adhering to outdated sentencing guidelines that were unduly harsh. Once again, it seems like even the fact-checkers are siding with Jackson, not simply for Jackson being Jackson, but also for Jackson defending exploiters. Now, you could say, Chandler, this is an entire total reach, and maybe it is. But that's what you have to do during these things. This is a lifetime nomination and a lifetime appointment. You live with this for the rest of your life until you retire, you can no longer adequately serve, or you die. Those are the only ways. What are you supposed to do except scrutinize each and every choice they ever made? As much as I disagreed with the way that they treated Brett Kavanaugh, I'm happy that we at least dug in as far back as we did. We dug into those parties in college as much as I don't think that should apply to anything. I at least respect the hustle. But unfortunately in 2022, it's not about legitimizing somebody and making sure that they are as qualified for the office as they are. Because Katanji Jackson is completely separate from that. It's all political now, which is a shame. But you know what? If we're going to stand up for something, we at least need to have that battle on both sides. And so, yes, I encourage Josh Hawley to expose Jackson for what she's done in the past, what she has said, and what she has advocated for. And I'm going to be the one that is going to expose these fact-checking organizations for lying to the people and siding with exploiters, because that is exactly what they are doing. Or as Joe Biden would way more eloquently and concisely place it,
Rub my leg down.
This show is 100% supported and sponsored by viewers like you. We're bringing it to you guys every weekday as much as we can at 3 Eastern. We did start a little bit late today, so if you don't catch me at 3, unless I've publicly announced we'll not be doing the show, we'll either do it at 3:30 or we'll have a show later that night at 8. Either way, if you guys are interested in supporting our ability to keep bringing this show to you, definitely make sure you go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler and consider a one-time or even monthly donation to support our content. Once again, that is donorbox.org/support-Chandler. Shout out to all my people who are watching us over on Rumble as well. But to donate, of course, your options are very simple right here. If you're interested in getting on the Hall of Heroes and having your name plastered above as a proud supporter of ours, then you know how to do it. Go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler or hit the link in the description to consider a one-time or monthly donation. I'll also drop the link in the chat. Of course, I'd like to remind you guys that we are proudly, very proudly sponsored by MyPillow. So if you're interested in getting your hands on one of these comfortable pillows at a price that you can sleep very well with, make sure you go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP, that is code CRUMP, for your very own high discount on pillows, pajamas, bed sheets, bed frames, mattresses. They have got everything and more over on mypillow.com. Use code CRUMP, that is code CRUMP, for your discount. Speaking of discount, though, it sure seems like Kamala Harris is going to be begging for a discount on brain cells very soon, because it appears that she is rapidly deteriorating. Now, I had a whole tirade last week, or potentially the week before last, about how terrible of a speaker Kamala Harris is appearing to actually be becoming. Either that or she just always has been, and before she had different staff and she's just lost those staff. But she is the current sitting Vice President of the United States, very duly elected, and she cannot speak for nothing. Let me show you guys this clip right here, and oh, it's going to be a great time, isn't it? Let's just see this.
The governor and I, and we were all doing a tour of the library here, and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children. The governor...
Oh my gosh. 4 times she said, the significance of the passage of time. That's my Kamala impression, just absolutely horrendous voice of hers. Come on, man. It really shows you that for this, it's not about actually being qualified for the job. It is purely about intersectionality. They wanted Kamala Harris to appeal to the black vote, and nothing more and nothing less. She is not qualified for such a position. And that is exactly what they seem to be doing with this Katanji character as well. I put out a tweet today that says, why is it that every black queen of the Democrat Party tries to promote has the most disgusting history? Kamala and Katanji are both very shameful. And they both have their strange histories. Notice how I had to hit view offensive comments just to see this person say agree. That's hilarious what Twitter does. It's true to see, though. Brown Jackson was nothing more than a campaign promise. And he's just delivering on that promise so that Black Lives Matter, when they pull that card back out again in 2024 to desperately win the election again, as they did in 2020, so allegedly, so that Black Lives Matter doesn't gobble them up from the inside out. Because yes, as much as Black Lives Matter is a liberal, Marxist, and in all accounts of the word disgusting movement, they at least have the intellectual, I don't know, depth to actually say no to Biden sometimes and say, no, Biden, you have just as much of a racist history,
And you ain't black.
as these people that we're trying to vote against, as so much as they claim, the Republicans, Party Switch, things of that nature. It's kind of clear to see that it's nothing more than politics to these people, which, I mean, it makes sense, but not even good politics. Not even. Moving on, digging a little bit deeper into the White House, though, they are warning of a Russian cyber attack that they are potentially prepping against the United States. This might be a dangerous escalation. The White House on Monday urged private companies to bolster their cyber defenses, citing evolving intelligence suggesting that the Russian government is exploring options for potential cyber attacks targeting U.S. critical infrastructure. I'm sure we've been doing the exact same thing to Russia since the word cyber attack existed, but whatever, I'm sure the same thing for them. To be clear, there is no certainty there will be a cyber incident on critical infrastructure. The White House Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technology told reporters during a briefing on Monday afternoon. This is a call to action and a call to responsibility for all of us. The administration has warned in recent weeks that Russia could look to target infrastructure in the US or elsewhere with cyber attacks, but officials previously said there was no specific or credible threats against the US. Now, digging back a little bit into history, and by history, I mean approximately a year ago, you guys may remember that in the Southeast, especially for my folks, in Louisiana, as somebody said they were a minute ago, or even here in Georgia, we had an entire set of months of which there was intermittent gas shortages. and you would pull up to a station and there will be no gas. The White House had to brief everybody about it, and this was before gas prices were even as high as they are now. And what caused that? Well, it was a series of hacks against a company, a major company that had multiple pipelines, and those pipelines were unfortunately shut down due to the hack. So it's clear to see that cyber attacks and cybersecurity are very important. At a time as critical as now, yeah, Aaron remembers, at a time as critical as now, we need to make sure that we're defending our infrastructure and not the Build Back Better plan or the Saving America plan, in which we're sending billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to Ukraine for their border. Meanwhile, our border's wide open. We need to be sending dollars to these companies to make sure that they can actually defend their dang pipelines. Or I don't know, let the companies spend their own dollars, build more pipelines, so that we can get our gas and stop paying $4, $5, $6, $7 per gallon at the pump. But unfortunately, the White House is only going to do one thing, and that is send more money to Ukraine, despite the fact that they are appearing more and more corrupt by the day. Look at this. Came out just a couple days ago. The wife of former Ukrainian Minister of Parliament Ihor Kotvitsky declared $28 million and 1.3 million euros when entering Hungary. Kotvitsky has faced allegations of corruption in the past. Wow. This is where the money is going. Welcome, Anne. She's a first-time viewer. Let me get back to the rant. This is where the money is going. Are you serious? Now, is it directly American taxpayer dollars lining these suitcases? I sure hope not. But it would not surprise me, considering that Hunter Biden has been exposed for giving 10% to the big guy, as well as whatever else he's been doing on that laptop, of which I think Katanji Brown might have had something to do with prosecuting Hunter Biden, considering he's walking free right now. That's a multi-layered joke right there. I don't know how many of y'all would get that. That's a multi-layered joke. But anyways, Hunter Biden's up to some nasty stuff on that laptop, straight up disgusting, truly, and he's getting away with it. Meanwhile, the fake news media and Jen Circleback Psaki will call it Russian disinformation if you try to speak up about it. And they will even ban one of the oldest newspapers in America, the New York Post, from Twitter simply for spreading the news about it. Locked them out of their accounts, suspended them for misinformation. This is the state of our country right now. This is the state of the world right now. And you want to tell us that we have no place to stand up and protest for what we believe in? You want to tell the truckers that they're hateful and racist and sexist and misogynistic and homophobic and bigoted and all these different things? You want to tell me that I can't stream right here on YouTube and share the news with the audience of the people? And stream on Facebook and type on Twitter and talk to friends on Discord? You want to tell me I can't do that? No. Sorry, my rant has just gone all over the place. But it's true to see. These things are all connected. The news cycle is a cycle for a reason, because it's all connected. Public appearance, whatever you know, whatever you've seen on TV, is pushing an agenda. It's an agenda of fear. It's an agenda of anger. And yeah, for some things, fear and anger is exactly what you need to be having. But then they distract you with something else. Notice the second that we started getting a little bit more information about this whole pandemic and the Fauci madness and the fact that he is doing things to puppies, as we have been declaring so proudly on the merch store with the Arrest Fauci for Killing Puppies shirts, which have been doing very well. And once again, I'll just plug that real quick before we move on. It's clear to see that the American people are being lied to at every step of the way. Because the second we started learning about these things, suddenly it's all about Ukraine and the Ukrainian flag gets to fly in DC and Dallas and Atlanta and everywhere else you go. Meanwhile, Fauci's running free. I say we arrest Fauci for killing puppies. But that's just my opinion. This is a good one. Check the chat for that one. It's also in the description. Arrest Fauci for killing puppies. Let's save the puppies. Virus of intelligence. Either way, there's so much madness happening. Many of it distractions. But this one right here, Ann says, oh, have to get the puppy shirt. Definitely check it out, Ann. $20 on Teespring right now. And I think we have a code right now. No, we don't have a code right now. But definitely check it out. I think it's available right now. Link in the description. Also threw it in the chat. But this next story, man, it's funny. Now, you guys remember last week we talked a ton about Leah Thomas, or as I so eloquently and colloquially refer to that person as Leah Thomas, because they sure are lying about their gender. Okay, anyways, Leah Thomas has had some controversy regarding their swimming. Trying to get through the story fast. At the NCAA swim finals, Kelly J. Keene takes on transgender activist who lived nearly 50 years as a man, fathered 3 children, and now says, I am a mother. This is somebody who's standing up for the female swimmers in the NCAA.
On the basis of the comfort and dignity of girls and women, I'm asking you, telling you, please do not use women's spaces.
My
It
girls,
makes them feel uncomfortable.
my girls and the other women I am with are very comfortable with me in the
Right.
bathroom.
Well,
in the locker room.
fortunately, I'm not your daughter.
In the bathroom, bro? This guy. Sorry, no, hold on. YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube. For my people on Rumble. I'm joking. Anyways, this person who lived 55 years as a man and fathered 3 people is now a woman and gets to go in the bathroom with young girls.
And my daughter is also not your daughter.
No, that's right.
And she
So
would
she
feel.
should stay.
She would feel very uncomfortable. No, I.
interrupt me.
Right.
No,
No, you
excuse me.
interrupted
You're
me.
interrupting
You
her.
interrupted
I'm not here
me.
for a debate. Beth, do you mind?
Right.
I would ask you to please call off your dog.
I beg your pardon.
Call off your dog.
I'm asking you as a mother. I'm asking you as a mother. Do not use female spaces.
And I'm very uncomfortable.
It makes women and girls
As a
feel
mother-
very
as a
uncomfortable.
mother,
You
I
are
am-
not. How dare you?
As
You
a
are
mother,
not a
I
mother.
am very.
You're not a You'll never birth your children. You're not a mother, Dawn.
Right,
I
I'm
do the job
just-
of mom, which is
I
even
was
more
asking-
important.
I was
Oh, man, I can't do this anymore, dude. I can't, man. How are we supposed to live in a world with these people? Somebody tell me how. Legitimately. This person is I can't, is claiming themselves as more of a mother and more of a woman than these 2 people, of which probably one of them has actually birthed children. And he says, as a mother. Look at this guy's face. I don't even know if this guy is on this guy's side or not, but this guy's face tells it all. Truly tells it all. Man, it's a madhouse in here, Jason. It's a madhouse. We've got a couple more stories we're going to be jumping through. We're going to try to get through them quick. We've got just a few minutes left. But before I continue, I want to remind you that this show is, of course, sponsored by viewers like you. We, of course, have the Fauci shirts available for you to buy if you'd like to support me, while also getting something out of it to rep the Arrest Fauci merch. That option is, of course, available in the description. But also, if you're interested in supporting the channel and directly donating to support us here, we're not monetized by YouTube or anything like that yet. So if you're interested in supporting us, all those options are available in the description at donorbox.org/support-Chandler if you want to join the Hall of Heroes. If you'd like me to answer a question, or you have just a general message to send me that I don't see in chat, that's your option for doing so. If you do it after the show, your name will, of course, appear on the show tomorrow, or I'll at least give you a shout-out for donating off-screen. All donations are appreciated. They go towards increasing our ability to make content here, and they're all around really great. So thank you so much in advance for that if you're interested. Or if you have in the past, thank you so much. Like Aaron has in the past, Roxanne Shante, I believe. I believe Salty Distraction has as well. If you haven't, I at least thank you for being here on the stream a ton. I think you did under a previous name, if I'm remembering correctly. Either way, another story, and actually I think I'll make it our last story since we're running a bit low on time. I'll save this story for another day. A couple has been allegedly kicked off via rail trailing for not masking between sips, or I guess via rail train for not masking between taking sips of their drinks. An Ontario couple was thrown off of a via rail train for allegedly not putting up their masks between sips of a drink. The engaged couple was 2 hours away from their destination before being kicked off the train. According to a source familiar with the writers, when the couple refused to mask between mouthfuls of a beverage, Bellevue police allegedly arrived to remove the couple from the train. And as they said, live, erase everything from her phone, a via rail employee said to the police after they were apprehended. Let's check this video out.
Forget to make everything erased from her phone from me.
Well, we'll ask her, okay?
Thank you. All right.
This is the guy. Okay, so now he's physically assaulted me. Now he just hit my phone.
Guys, I know you can't jam things in people's faces though. I know, but you gotta stay back from people's space, right?
Man, I will never live in Canada, bro. I can't do this, man. Guys, I don't know if the stories are just particularly outrageous today, or if I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, but a lot of these stories are just, they're getting me energized, you know?
And don't forget to make everything erased from her phone from me.
Well, we'll ask her, okay?
Thank you. All right.
Not
This
happening.
is the guy.
You call that putting it in his face? Are you serious? That was at least like 2 feet away.
Okay, so now he's.
Watch that.
This is the guy.
In his face? Dude, it's probably equidistant to how far my desk camera is that you're watching me through is than to how close it was to his face. I mean, look at that. Look at that. It's about the same distance. It's about the same distance, folks. I don't know. T-Dot says it ain't all that bad up here. Maybe it's just in the big cities, you know. I definitely know for a fact in the blizzard area, or I should say the tundra, and you know the out in the country, probably like around Alberta, in that province, in that area, it's probably really nice. I will definitely visit Canada. I would spend a lot of time in Canada. I hate the cold, I hate dry air, but I would definitely come up for a good amount of time if I ever try skiing or snowboarding or something like that. But I couldn't do it. Let's wrap the story up. The Via Rail employee was harassing my friend and his fiance, the couple's friend told Rebel News. They paid $3.50 for a horrible experience. The employee then went on a power trip and kicked them off the train. The Via employee is also heard on video saying, asking the police to delete the footage from her phone, saying, "Don't forget to make sure everything is erased from her phone for me." "We'll ask her," an officer replies. The employee proceeds to smack the cell phone in the woman's hand at arm's length, which prompts one of the officers to claim, "You can't just jam things in people's faces." The couple's friend told Rebel News he drove to pick the pair up, who were left standing on the side of the road with their luggage after being kicked off of the train. Rebel News has reached out to Via Rail and will update the story as any information changes. And unfortunately, Rebel News, and not that Rebel News is a bad source, but it is, of course, I'd say a right skewed source. I would try to find this elsewhere, but it would either be biased in a very terrible way, calling these people traitors or terrorists or something, or they just wouldn't cover it at all, which really shows you where we are currently with the news cycle. Thank you guys so much for being tuned into our show today. We had a great time. Shout out to everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Rumble. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. This is our brand new YouTube channel. If you guys don't know, I had to leave behind our previous channel of 40,000 subscribers, which hurts my soul, but unfortunately I received 8 community guideline strikes on that channel, which is not very good if you're trying to keep growing the channel. So we started brand new and fresh, and we recently hit, drum roll please, hold on, where's that sound effect? We recently hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. So if you're interested in making sure that we can keep growing here on YouTube, then make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. Also, for the day that I inevitably get banned off of YouTube, I want to invite each and every one of you to be subscribed to our uncensorable Rumble channel. So we are always simultaneously live on YouTube and Rumble. Every stream I do, live on both. So just look up Chandler_Crump on Rumble, or follow the link in the description or in the comments, and subscribe to us over on Rumble so you'll never miss another video. And a cool feature of the Rumble app on iPhones and Androids is that if you turn off your phone while you're listening to the stream, if you're watching it on a phone, it'll keep playing, which YouTube charges you like a few dollars a month to do. So Rumble gives you better service, no censorship, all for the same free price. Definitely check it out by going to rumble.com or downloading the Rumble app on your app store of choice. Thank you guys so much for being tuned into this show. Once again, this is our daily show we do every weekday at 3 or sometimes 3:30 like today. If you want to keep joining us, make sure you have that notification bell enabled so you get notified every time we post, as well as join our Telegram channel. We also go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 Eastern, so definitely make sure you tune in to that. And aside from all that, thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. Peace.
Into the light.